Go. And we're live. Welcome to the Alien Invasion number 219, recorded on Thursday, May 4th, 2017. I'm Dave Nelson, along with Anessa Moyens and Brad Ludwig. Coming up, Ridley Scott thinks aliens are real, and they'll probably kill us. New Earth-sized exoplanet discovered, but it's no vacation spot, and why real scientists, I like the real scientists, think aliens would never eat humans. Those stories, plus the sightings and our picks and warnings. Before all that, though, our question. As I pause the video, or pause the audio. All right. All right. The suspense is building for the question.
That just seems like a weird place to pause the question. Or the audio.
Well, he inserts things there.
Yeah. I do it all for a reason. All right. Now we're recording again. Here we go. All right. How do you think the news media would cover first contact with aliens? How would they cover an alien invasion? Like, how would CNN do it? How would Fox do it? How do you think it would handle? How do you think they would handle it? Who wants to start? Who wants to answer first?
Not me, because I was going to go all political, so I'm not going to.
No, you can. I mean, as long as we don't mention the T word, I think that's the only promise that we made, right? Not to mention the T word.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Well, they were just wanting to stay out of politics.
Yeah. I mean, it's no like secret that Fox leans one way, CNN leans another way, or CNBC, whatever. So how do you think any of those news outlets would handle an alien invasion? What kind of spin do you think they would put on it?
Yeah, I really don't know. Because I imagine they would end up calling in various experts to talk about aliens, or whether or not they believe in alien life, if they think these are actually extraterrestrials, or if it's some sort of like it's some technology from another country that, and this country is like an attack, so they might blame who do we have issue like North Korea, maybe. Although, North Korea, their tech isn't quite there. So, but I mean, you never know. They might think like, oh, maybe they've been working on this and haven't really been doing test launches like they have with the other stuff to, be like, hey, look what we're working on. So, yeah, I think they would just end up having all sorts of people calling and experts.
There would be
people that they think would be experts and non-experts alike. So I am sure that this, some stations might end up with your go-to astrophysicists, astronomers, scientists, whatever. So you'll probably see like Neil deGrasse Tyson, Bill Nye, who isn't an astronomer, but he's an engineer. He does science. Phil Plait. I can't think of his name. Michio Kaku.
Yeah, Michio Kaku. Yeah.
And they would end up having all sorts of people, and
all the regulars, all
of the regulars. And I kind of think, and you know what? I don't feel bad. I like the guy that we mentioned in like every other news story. I've totally blanked on his name.
Scott C. Waring?
Yes, I think this would be his time to shine.
Yes, you're right. It would.
So, anyway, that's my answer.
I think they would also throw in some religious leaders because
philosophical.
Yep. There'll be some person with defense, like there'll be a general or some higher up, like either current military officer or like a retired. You know how CNN and Fox, they have their military experts. They'll bring those guys in as well.
Yeah. Yeah, they will have military. They'll have government officials. They'll have state and local reps, probably, depending, smaller stations, I would think. Yeah.
I think early on, before we actually knew it was aliens, I'm sure that the terrorists would be blamed in some way.
We'd immediately try to get them behind a wall.
Yes. Brad, do you have any other insight on this?
Other than we'd immediately try to get them behind a wall? No.
Yes. Okay.
How do you wall up the sky?
How do you?
Would there be an immediate call for some kind of space-based defense system? Like if we knew they were coming, if they weren't here yet, but we saw them on our space radar, if we have that.
Nope, but there would be a tremendous call for thoughts and prayers.
Okay. Yep.
That is true.
You know them so well.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's good enough. I think that's a great answer. All right, let's move into our first question, shall we? First story. All right, in the news, Brad, you've got the first story.
I do.
What?
Here we go. We've been talking a lot about exoplanets. Guess what, Dave?
We found another one.
We found another one. This comes to us from the HuffPo. A new Earth-sized exoplanet discovered, but it's no vacation spot. Scientists announced the new discovery of a planet that, in some respects, is similar to Earth. Both are about the same size, and both orbit their suns at nearly the same distance. The new planet, designated OGL-2016-BLG-1195LB, was written up in the Astrophysical Journal of Letters study. But, according to NASA, the similarities between Earth, and thank God they shortened it, and OGLE don't really go anywhere. That's because the planet is an ice ball. It's approximately 13,000 light years from Earth and orbits a star so small that researchers have doubts whether it's even a star. Astronomers found OGLE with a technique called gravitational microlensing, which we've talked about before, which helps to discover distant planets by utilizing background stars as if they were flashlights. This ice ball planet is the lowest mass planet ever found through microlensing, which is kind of a big deal. Said, excuse me. Sorry about that. Said Yossi Schwarzwald, which we talked about him actually last week or the week before, I think, at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California, and the lead author of the Astrophysical Journal Letters study. In order for scientists to find planets smaller than OGLE by using the microlensing technique, a better space telescope will be needed, and they're coming. NASA's Wide Field Infrared Survey Telescope, or WFIRST, scheduled for launch in the mid-2020s, will meet the challenge. One of the problems with estimating how many planets like this are out there is that we have reached the lower limit of planet masses that we can currently detect with microlensing. To date, approximately 25,000 exoplanets have been confirmed, with many more ahead. So there you have it.
This is remarkably similar to the one that you guys talked about last week, because that was an ice ball as well, or it was colder than Hoth, you said.
Yes, and I think this might be the same one, but there are more details in this story than last time. So
follow-up.
It is a follow-up, sir.
Good job. Good job.
We try to stay on top of that.
Yeah. No, we have a rich history of covering exoplanets on the alien invasion. I'd like to get a tally of how many different ones we've talked about, because I'm sure it would be a pretty big number.
No, I think you'd be right.
Yeah.
We, the search for alien life and talking about aliens, they need a place to come from. So the chances are very good that they'll come from an exoplanet. So
I was actually thinking the other day, I think I was actually thinking about this when I was editing last week's podcast, which I was not on, but it was enjoyable nonetheless. I was thinking that we should expand the horizons of the Alien Invasion podcast and say, basically, if there's a possibility that aliens might come from whatever it is we want to talk about, we could talk about it. You know what I mean?
I think that is totally legit.
I think we already do it, but we could maybe expand it just a little bit,
Yeah.
Just for funsies, to make it more enjoyable for us and the listener/viewer.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you for this week's exoplanet update. I wish I had echo on my microphone. Come on, Brad, do it.
Update.
Very nice. All right. That is that story. Now let's shoot the breeze.
Excellent.
All right. So this is the part of the show where we talk about, well, we update each other on what we've been doing since the last time we talked. And I haven't talked to you guys for a couple weeks. I had some things come up, and you guys stepped in and drove the ship for a couple episodes. I appreciate that. An awesome job both weeks. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So what's been going on this past week? What have you guys been up to?
Oh boy. Big things that we've been up to this week. We cleaned the house.
You guys
I'm trying to think what we this past weekend was International Tabletop Gaming Day. So we actually were at a friend's house, and there were a number of people there, and we played all sorts of card and board games.
What was the most enjoyable game that you guys played?
I was a really big fan of Organ Attack.
Yep, Organ Attack from the artist and writer of
The Awkward Yeti.
The Awkward Yeti.
I love that webcomic.
Yes.
It makes me so happy. You don't even know. And in my opinion, like, we ended up purchasing Exploding Kittens. I have not purchased the expansion Imploding Kittens, but that particular card game is done by the creator of the Oatmeal. And the cards, they're funny, they're witty, but and the same thing applies to Organ Attack. And as you can guess, like, Organ Attack is more medically related. And Exploding Kittens not so much, but to me, between the two, like, the concepts were there, but I think Organ Attack was able to hit the nail on the head, as it were, and I think it plays better. Just the flow, the tone, I think is a lot better. If you're comparing webcomic card games, then I would go with Organ Attack. But the goal of the game is you want to basically destroy the other player's organs and be the last person remaining with at least an organ. And they've got different cards, and you can play different cards on different organs, but they've got the little logo, so you don't want to play glaucoma on your stomach. You would play it on your eyes, but yeah,
What a weird game.
It's weird, but it's a simple concept to pick up, and it's fun.
Educational too.
And it is educational, because you're like, oh, I had no idea what this was. Really long medical term. And it kind of gives you a general idea of what it is, or at the very least, what part of the body it affects the most.
Yep.
So anyway, it was a fun game. I really enjoyed it. And
there are some diseases that can affect multiple organs, so you get a chance to understand that. We were kind of talking about this might be a great game for
maybe like pre-med
students.
biology majors.
Mhm.
Even just students taking bio in high
Word.
school or something.
Mhm.
It's fun.
Cool. I'm trying to think of what's been going on the last 2 weeks for me. I went to pick up
You've been
my
working.
I picked up my stuff in New York, in Watertown, New York, last
Oh yeah, that's right.
2 weeks ago, I guess. So I'm finally almost have everything that I had prior to 3 years ago now.
Woohoo!
In fact, for those of you watching the video, I am wearing a hockey jersey. And Brad, if you see my video, you may recognize the logo on this shirt.
Wait, hang on. Oh, it's the old crow. Nice.
Yes. So it's the radio station that the company that Brad works for and I used to work for now owns. And the funny thing is, Midwest Communication bought it after I left the company. So
Yep.
it's kind of weird how that worked out.
It's very crazy. Very crazy.
Oh, my camera switched. That's weird. Hang on, guys.
Yeah, your other camera actually kind of froze. So
It's so weird. I don't know. This Hangout is not liking my my camera tonight for some reason. All right. Okay. So I guess we're all caught up, right? We can.
I think so.
All right. Well, thanks for the update, guys.
Whoop whoop.
Now I can sleep.
Yes, I want to sleep. Good night, everybody.
So much sleeping.
All right. Let's do some more news about sleeping.
Oh. What? Hmm?
And aliens probing while you sleep.
So Ridley Scott, let me start over again because it sounded like I was slurring. So Ridley Scott thinks aliens are real and they'll probably kill us. Now, the first thing I thought of when I heard this was, okay, he either truly believes this or he's saying it just because he's got a new alien movie coming out in a couple weeks. Could be a little bit of both. In an interview with Sky News, the director of the Alien franchise movies mentioned that he believes in aliens, or what he called superior beings. An expert I was talking to at NASA said to me, "Have you ever looked in the night sky? You mean to tell me we are it? That's ridiculous," Scott said, adding that he thinks there are at least 100 to 200 similar species out there right now. I think that's a very low number. Unless he's talking about similar to us, like Homo sapiens.
Mm.
Maybe that's a legitimate number. Who knows? However, Scott doesn't think they'd be waving the white flag of peace right away. He thinks any aliens we encounter would probably try to blow our brains out, at least if we provoke them. When you see a big thing in the sky, run for it because they are a lot smarter than we are. And if you are stupid enough to challenge them, you will be taken out in 3 seconds, Scott said. And just as an update, the director's latest Xenomorph Bloodbath Alien Covenant hits theaters on May 10th. So in, 7 days from the time that we're recording this?
Yep.
Actually, the 10th. Hang on a second. Today's the 4th.
Today is May the 4th be with you.
That's right. Yeah. And we don't have a single Star Wars story.
We do not.
What is wrong with us?
Poor planning.
So what do you guys think of this? Do you think he's saying this just to kind of juice up the promotion for, well, obviously he's trying to promote the movie, but do you think he's exaggerating just because he's known for these movies about these aliens that want to kill humans, or he actually believes what he's saying?
I think he believes what he's saying. I really do.
More just because he's been in this whole like alien universe in his head all these years, or do you think he'd believe it even if he wasn't?
I think doing the movies helps.
Yeah. But he had to believe it a little bit going into it, right? Because you have to have passion for what the story that you're telling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And I guess to keep it going for so many years, unless you're just in it for the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might be a little bit of both.
Well, you're not wrong.
Little from column A, little from column B. What's the other saying? Have a dozen of one, 6 of the other, or something like that. Is that the
Yep.
saying?
Half a dozen one. Yep. And stuff in the thing in the guys. Yep.
Are you guys going to go see Alien Covenant?
I believe so.
Yeah. What about? I know you're gonna see Guardians of the Galaxy this week. Are you gonna see it this weekend, or you have to wait?
We're hoping for Tuesday because that's date night and it's $5 movie night. So it might be sold out when we get there.
Well, I don't know. That's a few days in, so
Oh, we went to go see. What did we go see?
Beauty and the Beast.
Well, there was another movie that we went there for though too.
Oh shoot! And it was sold
Because like
out.
Beauty and the Beast was Plan B, and like they were all pretty much sold out. And we had not seen $5 Tuesdays ever be that busy, but it was also around spring break, so I think that was part of it.
Yeah, shoot. It was. Oh, it was Logan.
Oh yeah, we were gonna go see Logan.
Yep.
And then we just kind of gave up after that.
have you guys seen Logan?
No.
No.
Okay.
We did not get
The
to see it.
and then we just kind of gave up after that.
Yeah.
When it comes out on video, we'll
That's
catch it.
That's so typical. That sounds like my wife and I. We don't even get to the theater. Really. I'm the only one that gets to the theater. We have a hard enough time catching up, like on video on demand or like downloading. It's like got all these movies we have to watch. We're like, oh, we're not gonna have time. We have these shows we have to catch up on our DVR. It's like, Jesus Christ. Drowning in entertainment here.
Yep. You're not wrong, sir. Not wrong at all.
I'll read about it online.
Well, you can do that too.
All right. I think we're good with that. Where is it? There it is. All right. We have the third and final news story of the show. And I believe it's Miss Anessa. So Anessa, take it away.
It's me. I got it from Time magazine. So the title of the article is Why Scientists Thinks Aliens Would Never Eat Humans. And the staff writer who wrote this is Sarah Begley. And so anyway, when the Martians first land on Earth in the 1996 sci-fi comedy Mars Attacks, for a moment it appears all will be fine. We come in peace, says their leader, as the music swells and a dove soars overhead. Seconds later, Martian pulls out a laser gun and opens fire on a crowd of human onlookers. Yet another blockbuster alien invasion has begun. That's Hollywood, of course. But the melodrama underscores one of humanity's most widely held fears, that if and when we do encounter extraterrestrial beings, they will wreak all kinds of havoc, much as they do in the movies. Or will they? For his new book, Aliens, the World's Leading Scientists on the Search for Extraterrestrial Life, quantum physicist Jim Al-Khalili asked a series of experts to explore how humans might actually make contact with aliens. The possibility is not as far-fetched as it once seemed, since NASA launched its Kepler mission in 2009. Researchers have discovered thousands of new planets and, quote, revolutionized our concept of how many habitable worlds could exist, end quote, writes astrobiologist Natalie Cabral in one of the book's essays. But while Hollywood suggests we should expect to battle their inhabitants, science tells a different story. Here, 5 popular alien myths and Aliens debunks. So, the first myth is mentioned in the title. Aliens would eat us. Movies like The Blob and Critters imagine aliens harvesting humans for food, an unpleasant prospect. But it doesn't track with the science of nutrition, writes astrobiologist Louis Dartnell. In order for aliens to get nourishment from eating us, their bodies would have to be capable of processing our molecules, like amino acids and sugars. And that requires having similar biochemistry, a long shot for a species that hails from a different world. Myth number 2. Aliens would breed with us. I always thought that was kind of weird. Both this summer's extraterrestrial blockbusters, Alien Covenant and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, involve human-alien hybrids. But given that we can't even reproduce with our own nearest evolutionary relative, the chimpanzee, it's overwhelmingly improbable we could do the same with aliens, according to Dartnell, which is very true. And who's been trying to mate with a chimpanzee?
That's
Myth number 3. Aliens would look like us. We're so conceited. Narcissistic? I don't know. Not creative. Human evolution depended on so many unique and unpredictable factors, it's near impossible that an extraterrestrial species would have human-like features, like the aliens in The Day the Earth Stood Still and Star Trek. It's far likelier, writes neuroscientist Anil Seth, that they'd be as different as the octopus, our very own terrestrial alien, which has a high level of intelligence, decentralized nervous system, and an alternative style of consciousness. Myth number 4. Aliens would be, quote, living creatures. Even restrained from films like Arrival get this one wrong, according to some scientists. Should aliens contact us, cosmologist Martin Rees believes we will hear not from fellow organic creatures, but from the robots they produced who can, in theory, live forever. Myth number 5, and that's the last myth. Aliens would steal our water and metal. The aliens in Independence Day famously arrived to strip Earth of its resources. But again, that logic doesn't add up, writes Dartnell. Most of our metal is in the Earth's core, not its crust. Asteroids would be far better targets for mining, and icy moons like Jupiter's Europa would be easier places to stock up on water. They're uninhabited and they don't have Earth's strong gravitational pull. So, if aliens aren't interested in harvesting our lands or our bodies, why would they make contact? Dartnell suspect a purer motive: curiosity. If aliens did come to Earth, he writes, it would probably be as researchers, biologists, anthropologists, linguists, keen to understand the peculiar workings of life on Earth, to meet humanity and learn of our art, music, culture, languages, philosophies, and religions. Presumably, we would hide our alien movies.
You don't want to give them any ideas, you know?
And you, or the wrong impression, you know? We think you're all monsters. Ha ha ha. This isn't awkward at all.
But we totally know you now, so we don't think that.
It's cool.
Are we cool, bro?
That's about my great-grandmother. Just pay no attention to that DVD. She was a beast.
No, that's a great article, Anessa.
Thank you.
So, what do you think? Okay, looking at this list, how can we make a better alien invasion movie without using one of these tropes of aliens eating us, breeding with us, looking like us, living creatures, or stealing our resources? So what would be a good plot for an alien invasion movie not involving any of those?
Well, it kind of goes into the I'm the new guy trope. So you have this alien that's coming to check out Earth, and he's trying to kind of like fit in and do research, but he's just incredibly awkward and sticks out like a sore thumb. And what may appear like incredibly clumsy to us is totally graceful for them, but it's, you know, misunderstandings. And yeah, the tropes would be there. It would just be different types.
Who would you cast as that alien? There's got to be a good actor that we could think of. Like the female one would be like back in the 90s or early 2000s, Drew Barrymore. I don't know anymore. There's got to be somebody that has replaced her with the awkward female lead.
Well, I mean, these aliens are probably going to end up being computer generated if they don't look anything like humans.
Yeah, you're right.
So you could pretty much stick anyone's voice in there that you would think would make a good alien voice. I kind of think that I'm just forgetting all sorts of names.
You've been around Brad and I long enough.
Well, what's her name?
I'm thinking Alan Tudyk would make a great alien.
Yeah.
Because he does like so many different voices and he has just such a great range. Actor, yeah. I think he would be perfect.
And he's got a little bit more time on his hands now that Powerless is off the air.
That's such crap.
I know. I actually really like that show and I'm kind of bummed. So, but no, I think Alan Tudyk would be a wonderful alien. Female, I don't know.
Rachel Bloom.
Who's Rachel Bloom?
She's in the Fox show Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. She did the Super Friends. She wrote the Super Friends or co-wrote the Super Friends song. No, she wrote the Super Friends song from the Flash Supergirl crossover, the musical episode.
Oh, neat. I didn't know that.
I'm not really familiar with like her work or acting. I mean, I've seen probably 50 or 60 of the same commercials thanks to the CW app. Doop a doop a doop a doop. But yeah, beyond that, I'm not really familiar with her vocal style or acting range or anything. So, but I mean, I think she would be as good as any
Amy
person.
Schumer.
Sure. Yeah.
Because when Dave mentioned, like clumsy and stuff, like the first person that popped in my head would be like America Ferrera
or Karen Gillan,
because she was wonderfully awkward and Ugly Betty. Yep. But if she's just voicing a character, I don't know that her voice would really suit an alien from outer space. But what voice would suit an alien from outer space? Maybe they just make a bunch of clicks. I don't know.
Yeah. Seth Rogen, he did Paul. Bring him back in. Boom, done.
Bring him back in.
So I have another concept for a movie not involving any of these tropes. And this kind of goes to the end of the article where it's like Curiosity. An alien race lands on Earth, just visiting, wants to check it out, and causes like an annihilation or like causes the death or a lot of injury just by them being there because of like viruses and bacteria and the difference in physiology.
It's like a reverse War of the Worlds.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. They're there at the best of intentions, right? They're just visiting. They want to see how humanity is, and they cause all this disaster, devastation by accident, just for being who they are.
Yeah, I think that would work. I also had this thought of, and we've seemed to be doing a lot of movies or shows of people like traveling to space, like through space rather, to like colonize or explore whatever it might be. And I'm just kind of thinking that, you have this planet that finally receives our signals and they're watching like I Love Lucy and all these various shows and radio shows and whatnot. And so they're like, let's go check out that planet. And they're like super excited and they get here and like Earth is dead. And that's the movie. You're welcome, Hollywood.
Or no, you know what? It doesn't live up to the expectation because they only know humanity through our entertainment.
Wow.
It kind of reminds me of the aliens from, what is it, Omicron Persei 8 from Futurama, where they demand that Fry and Peeps reenact, I forget the name in the show, but essentially Ally McBeal, like the end of Ally McBeal.
Oh yeah.
Because the signal gets cut off before they can see the season or the series finale, and they like, we must know.
Well, I've heard about that episode. Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty funny. Highly recommended. That show's pretty funny.
All right. I think that's good for that. Good. All right. Let's move on to sightings. Okay. Let's talk about a sighting of some kind. These are UFOs, unidentified flying objects that people maybe have seen, possibly. Could be swamp gas. Could be a bird in the sky, like you guys mentioned last week. A huge pigeon, large pigeon.
Huge pigeon.
Yeah. Or maybe it is an alien craft. Who knows? But this week, cigar-shaped alien spaceship with flashing lights seen in Paris, France. A new video has emerged, which may show a UFO in the sky over France. A cigar-shaped object which radiates beams of light was spotted near Paris, and experts believe it resembles objects previously seen over China and Australia. It is unclear what the object is, and the uploader has admitted that it could be a full-blown hoax. In the video, Tyler Glockner, who runs Secure Team 10, we've mentioned them times before, explains that the footage was sent to him in an email and that the sender did not have much information on it. He said, I've done a bit of digging since I received it and haven't been able to find a copy of the original video. In 2010, a similar cigar-shaped object was spotted in the sky over an airport in China that caused the airport to shut down. Wow. Mr. Glockner also referred back to a previous UFO sighting over the Gold Coast of Australia in early 2014. He said, again, we see what looks like a very similar UFO hovering over the beach. He added at least these two other UFO sightings. We are corroborating the Paris sighting much more. Oh, with these. Okay, so basically he's using these two others as like a evidence that this other one is legit. It's too legit to quit. All right. So exciting stuff. What do they say about Paris, the city of lights?
A city of extraterrestrial lights.
Yeah. Imagine all those people there on their loving on their honeymoons.
As opposed to hateful honeymoon.
Yes. The romantic weekend for two in Paris, and all of a sudden they see up in the sky this cigar-shaped UFO with the lights on. And they're like, oh, that's even more romantic.
Ooh, aliens invading on the honeymoon.
Sometimes a cigar-shaped UFO is just a cigar-shaped UFO.
I wish that I could do a screenshot, but I don't know how to do that. So, Brad, would you do me a favor? Would you mind clicking on that link and trying to do a screenshot on one of these pictures? There's actually a video too. It's like kind of a GIF that's repeating the same thing with the lights, and it's really, really interesting. So it'd be neat to get a screenshot of that in the video. This is where you guys should totally subscribe to our YouTube channel to see the stuff that we're talking about, because once in a while we'll show it, as we are trying to do right now.
Let's see if I can. Oh, there we go. Okay. I'm going to share the screen. I will share.
Oh, there it is.
And yeah, it's pulsing away like nobody's business.
That's pretty neat. Like, do you guys think that's a legitimate thing, or do you think it's could be something else? And if so, what do you think it is?
Yeah, it's one of those things where gonna click to see the full video here because I want to see if it moves around. I want to see if it, because it's cocked off at an angle, but it's in between two other lights, and it's.
Can you describe it real quick?
Yeah, basically, we're seeing a dusk view, and it's an outdoor shot. And this shot is it's video, and the lights in question. There are two spheres and one. It looks like. It looks like a division sign is not the right thing to say. If you were a computer programmer, it'd be a division sign, but it's like an angled line, and the upper part angles up and to the left. Okay, so it's at like a 45-degree angle at its tip. It's tipped on a 45-degree angle, and what's happening is on the sphere on the right. So there's a sphere on the left, there's this tipped line, and then there's another sphere on the right. Now it slowly looks like that's so weird. The sphere on the right has got a smaller sphere. It looks like it's orbiting it. And the whatever it is that's tipped at a 45-degree angle has got lights that looks like it's shining directly down from. You're assuming that it is a saucer, but like a thinner saucer, and it's. I have no idea what's going on there. I don't want to know. Yeah. All right, and it looks like lights are there. Like there's a larger ring of lights underneath this thing that are shining down, and then there's a second smaller ring. And then there is a floodlight that kind of it goes to the center. So think of if you were looking at a bullseye with rings, right? So there's an outer ring, an inner ring, and then there's a circle. So that's kind of what it looks like that light pattern is. Okay, and it's just repeating that.
I just wonder if it's maybe a reflection of a street light. Kind of off the clouds. Maybe it's a cloudy night with a low ceiling of clouds.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so odd, and it's really hard to say if it's.
Yeah, it is hard to say.
It's so hard to say if it's actually a craft because we have no sense of scale, really.
Below it looks like some kind of bridge.
Yeah, it does look like a bridge below, like one of the.
No, it looks like power lines.
It could be. I was just thinking kind of like the San Francisco bridge where it's got the.
Well, that would be an incredibly different scale.
Yeah, it would be an incredibly different scale. But I mean, they make smaller versions of the bridge, though. It's not exclusive to San Francisco. But yeah, it looks something kind of like that, or maybe like Brad said, power lines. But there's like two posts, and you've got both lines on starting from one, like the top of one post, and it kind of dips down and joins up, swoops back up and joins to the next post, and the other line below it is perpendicular, or parallel rather. Words are not my friend today. So yeah, it runs parallel with the line to the next post. So and that's where I guess we kind of get the idea that it might also be a bridge, even if it's one where people walk across, like one of those rope bridges.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've never been to France, so I don't know what's there.
Would love the listeners' feedback.
Because we do terrible French accents.
Give us your feedback. What do you think of the sighting? And then what do you think of our French accents?
They're horrible French accents.
They're terrible.
Yes.
Never do them again.
We would love to hear it. 805-328-3966. That's the voicemail. All right. There you go. That's our sighting. Bam! As Brad would say. All right. It's time for picks and warnings. Picks and warnings, picks and warnings. Do, 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 do. All right.
Did you see or did you hear? I tried to do that last week.
Yes, I did hear. Good job. Very nice.
Thank you.
My wife. Okay. So these are things that we have taken in as entertainment into our senses relating to aliens in some kind of way. It's my Shatner as Kirk. Kirk. Now, that was my con saying Kirk. Anyways, Brad, what do you got?
We got to see the third episode of this season of Doctor Who called Thin Ice.
So good. So good.
It was very good. And the chemistry that there seems to be between Bill, thank you. Bill and the Doctor is wonderful. And she's at that initial phase of she's not really seen. She's just starting out. And they end up going back in time to Victorian England. And there's a frost fair, and I believe that it's the last one. And I guess they used to have them. It's a legitimate thing. And what's happening is some of the homeless, the vagrants, are disappearing, and there's a reason for it. And it turns out that some of it has to do with unabated capitalism, as it were, is part of the reason. And it was wonderful to see. You really felt like they were out on the ice. I mean, the costuming, as usual, was amazing. The setting were just amazing. And we get to see a lot more of the new sonic screwdriver, which I think is really cool looking.
Explain it. Explain this, because there's it looks like something else in the Doctor Who world universe.
The shape almost looks like the tip that glows. Typically, I think post Sylvester McCoy. I can't remember if McGann, if we got to see him use a sonic screwdriver in the Fox show.
I thought it looked like the TARDIS.
Well, yeah, what I'm saying is I'm not sure if it's had a glowing tip.
Oh, okay.
Since starting with Eccleston.
Just the tip.
Okay. But we get to see the War Doctors, and that has a small light on the top. So that seems to be that might be the start of there being a light on top of the sonic screwdriver. Okay. Before that just looked like it had a cone on the top that focused the sonics, as it were. Now with this current iteration, instead of having the grippy claw end, that was Matt Smith's, he has ditched the sonic sunglasses for a sonic screwdriver that almost looks like it has a... When you see certain pictures of it, it looks like maybe an octagonal, like it does have some sides to it, but it's reminiscent of the look of the TARDIS. There is a point at like a steeple at the top. There's a point to the tip, and it looks like it might be, I don't know, 2 to 3 inches. That light sticks out, which is the first for that. The past ones that we've seen, they've been basically smaller bulbs, but this is like a full-on, like a torch, for lack of a better term. For our UK friends, an actual torch, like something you'd light on fire, not a flashlight. So and he actually uses it as a flashlight, as a torch to see in the darkness, which is really kind of cool. So it is, and it is a blue light, so it is very reminiscent of the look of the TARDIS. So it's a beautiful sonic screwdriver. So it's the beginning of the relationship. They do address the Bill happens to be black, so they address that, her being out and about in a time period where blacks in London weren't given, they weren't given to being just out and about and wearing really nice clothes and stuff like that.
They were not equals.
They were not equals. They were not treated well. So they do address that a little bit, which does justice to the time period. And from Stephen Moffat's interviews, he really felt narratively that they should address it. So yeah, there you go. It's a great mystery, a great alien. The whole setup of, I don't want to give anything away just because it's just come out and it's a really great episode, but there's a symbiotic relationship in regards to the alien, which is really very fascinating, and actually kind of occurs in our nature, in actual nature on Earth. So it was a well-written story, very well executed, and continued. I think the third episode of the year, all of them have been very good. So we will most certainly continue to watch.
I think it's the most mature relationship that the Doctor has had with a companion in a long, long time.
Yeah, the only thing in my mind that comes sort of close, and I'm saying that loosely, is the relationship that David Tennant and Catherine Tate had.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Yes.
There's the nice thing, and I think probably part of what has hurt the ratings. I'm gonna be honest here. BBC has complained that they're losing market share. Their sales of merchandising have dropped. I think what really helped the mass appeal of the return of Doctor Who, especially starting with David Tennant, is having two young, handsome, and very attractive people playing these characters, and there's flirtiness and there's romance. And I was talking to somebody, and it's basically science fantasy. There is they're more like fairy,
kind of a fan fiction. Almost.
They're sci-fi fairy tales, essentially, is what they felt like.
Way. It shouldn't be that way.
No, it shouldn't. But there it is, and the relationship that Jenna Coleman had with Matt Smith's character, with Matt Smith's Doctor, there was flirtiness to it. And then when Matt Smith left, that dynamic didn't work with Peter Capaldi, and it wasn't even really attempted. But that magic, that banter that they had at a certain level that she had with Matt Smith just wasn't there, and it fell kind of flat in certain respects.
Well, I think part of that was the writing, and that's because they put such a huge focus on Clara and her inability to adjust to this older face, to this different person, and that he's older. And did I mention that he's older? And the show just really focused on that, and how, she was having trouble adapting to the change. And to me, with previous regenerations, the companions are like, oh, you've changed. Oh, okay, cool, let's move on. And they don't really focus on the appearance quite as much, especially like, oh, you look significantly older than Matt Smith. And I think that was part of the problem, as far as like not really keeping that banter, or that you wouldn't keep that banter, but still, even just any sort of banter going. Just her not being able to adjust, and that was just the writing, and I think kind of a reflection of people don't like change, including the Doctor Who audience, apparently. They do, but up to a certain extent.
Well, we'll see what happens with the next Doctor and the next companion. I'm guessing that they're gonna go young again.
Yeah, I really do.
There's rumors that it's going to be Martin. Can't think of his last name.
Freeman.
No.
Yeah, if only.
Yeah. No, I know him from Death in Paradise. But I know he's from other shows, and he's younger, but he's not like young.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, there's rumors that it might be him.
Yeah,
you never know.
I got a feeling there's going to be more than just that change. I think they're going to try to do a soft reboot with the new showrunner and the new Doctor and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm wondering how they're going to do that. Are they going to have a female Doctor? And they've got a female Master.
Yeah, we'll see.
So who knows?
It's all speculation at this point, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Brad, what's your flying saucer rating on this?
I would give it. I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5 flying saucers.
Yeah, you are. Good job.
Good job.
Right.
Well done.
All right, so my pick is Chasing UFOs, and the title of the episode, this is a documentary type series. It's called Chasing UFOs, and the title of the episode is Texas is for Sightings. This one's for you, Anessa.
Yay!
A team of trained investigators sets out to uncover the truth about UFOs, but they're not just looking for more stories on extraterrestrial activity. They want answers, and they want answers now. I love this description. Risking it all, this team of scientists and UFO researchers investigate and dissect some of the most mysterious sightings on the planet to unearth stunning new evidence. The data they collect on these adventures paints an entirely new picture of what we know about these strange lights in the sky. And that's just a general description of the show. The episode, in this episode, Ryder, James, and Ben investigate reports of mysterious lights spotted over the skies over Texas, the two towns of Stevensville and Dublin in 2008. The team begins tracking stories from more than 30 witnesses who all share similar testimonies seeing strange lights in the sky. So that's how they start off the show. And I had to laugh because they kind of did a whole pan. They showing different like exterior shots of the town. And sure enough, there was a big billboard for
Dublin Dr. Pepper.
Yes.
That was always a pit stop up until they got rid of it.
That was so awesome. I'm like, Anessa!
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think the billboard's still there unless they finally took it down within the past 3 or 4 years.
This series was 2014.
Okay.
It was only one season in 2014, I believe. So at the time of the filming, it was still up.
Sweet.
Yeah. So it was neat because they brought in like 30, like the description said, 30 witnesses. And at first, nobody was talking. And then everybody just broke out. Just, I saw this, and it was just huge. It couldn't have been any kind of man-made thing. I mean, you could land a plane on top of this. There was lights and all this, like, awesome. Like, people were like, they were relieved that they could actually tell these people their stories. And there was a guy that said, I had nobody to tell this to. And I felt kind of like not an outcast, but he felt like he couldn't tell anybody before they got the group together. They actually got them together in this big like public room and had kind of like a town hall with these people. It was really cool.
Yeah, no,
That's not unlike your.
I was gonna say that's kind of similar. That's a similar theme to my pick.
Really? Okay, that's a tease for your pick.
It's a tease.
So they went from there to investigating other individual cases of other UFO sightings in and around that area of Stevensville and Dublin. Not just in 2008, but around that time. Not the big sightings, but just other small ones. And they found out that there was a sighting back in the 1800s in Dublin, Texas. So there's a history of sightings in this area, not just in the 2008 era. They actually went out to look for radiation signals, residual radiation from this sighting that described objects falling from the sky. So they thought maybe they could pick up residual radiation from these objects that landed in this area
Sure.
back then. But then when they were out there, they actually saw what they thought was a UFO. So they got video of that. So they had their own personal experience.
Oh, crazy.
So yeah, this was on Netflix in Canada. I don't know where it's at, where else it is. Check local listings and your local Netflix to whatever country you live in. It may just be there. So I'm going to give it 3 out of 5. No, 3.5 out of 5 flying saucers.
Nice.
All right, Anessa, what you got?
I have a documentary called Westall 66, and it's a suburban UFO mystery. Ooh. I think this is actually available to watch on YouTube, but I found it on Amazon Prime. And the little blurb: in 1966, in the Australian suburb of Westall, hundreds of students, teachers, and local residents saw the unimaginable, a UFO. Silenced by authorities at the time, they are now revisiting the extraordinary experience as a tenacious sleuth searches for answers. So going back to what you were talking about and how there were some individuals that didn't feel like they could really talk about it. As the description says, if people are not familiar with Westall and its UFO sighting back in 1966, a school in the area, a lot of the kids were outside for recess, and they witnessed a UFO.
Oh, we talked about this on a previous episode.
I'm sure we did.
Yeah.
And I found a documentary about it.
Nice.
So they witnessed this UFO, and as far as we're able to tell, only one of the adults witnessed it as well, and that was one of the teachers. He was a new teacher, and the person who's doing this research, this amateur investigator, I believe was the print at the bottom of the screen. He's looking at old case forms and he's trying to track people down and he's trying to talk to them. And the common theme, especially from the children, was that they were afraid to come forward because the few times that they did, they were ridiculed, they were made fun of. It was not a pleasant experience for them. And so they've been unable to talk about this for years. And so their 45th year class reunion was coming up. And they were so excited to be together because they were able to talk about this out in the open, and they were, recalling their version of the story, and they were going through pictures and looking through like old yearbooks and whatnot. And it was just really fascinating to see. But you have the kids that are witnessing this event. And one thing that I liked about the documentary is that a lot of times you get people that will describe what they saw, and you might get a picture that relates to what they saw, maybe a sketch, but this person really tried to bring these descriptions to life with what appears to be kind of like it's animated sketches, essentially. So they're seeing the kids run, and they're kind of seeing like the shape, the disc-shaped object that they witnessed and whatnot. And they describe the various events that followed, how quickly people appeared to investigate, and how they were told that, they couldn't talk about anything because nothing happened. And it was just, I guess, all in their head, I suppose. But I really enjoyed this documentary. especially when compared to some of the other documentaries that I've watched that are, man, painful. This one was actually pretty good. So I recommend it. Like I said, I believe it's on YouTube, which would mean that it's free. Otherwise, you can probably purchase it or stream it through Amazon Prime. It's Westall 66, a suburban UFO mystery.
All right. Your flying saucer rating.
I'd give it 3.5.
All right. So, in review, Anessa had Westall 66, a suburban UFO mystery. I had Chasing UFOs, the episode Texas is for Sightings, and Brad had Doctor Who episode Thin Ice. And ta-da.
Woohoo!
All right, that's going to do it. Hang on. Get your final thoughts ready, guys. We haven't done that for a couple weeks. So that's going to do it for this Besibida. So that's going to do it for this edition of the Alien Invasion, a Galactic Network podcast. If you'd like to read more about the stories that we covered on this episode, click the links in the show notes. We'd like to thank Monkey Warhol for providing our intro music. You can find more of his music at soundcloud.com/monkeywarhol. Also, Retward von Dernberg, a composer from Germany, for our closing song called Be Water. Learn more about him and his music at thecaravel.net. That's TheCaravel. Also, thanks to Ben Olson.
Ben.
For recording. That pause was for you, Brad.
Thank you. Love you, Ben.
Throw in that little thing. For recording our disclaimer audio at the start of the episode. You can find more about him at benolson.com. All right. Final thoughts. Brad, what do you got?
We're going to finish watching The Flash.
Oh, it's a good one.
So we can find out who Savitar is.
Yeah. You're going to be surprised or not if you think you know who it is.
I'm pretty sure I know who it is.
Yeah. A ton of evidence has been strewn about over the past few episodes.
Yep.
All right. Vanessa, what's your final thought?
I need to order more tea.
All right.
Not really. But I am running low on a particular flavor, so.
That's been a final thought of yours before.
Has it?
She drinks a lot of tea, dude.
Or is it just I need to make some tea, or I need to drink some tea, or something else tea related? Because I do drink a lot of tea.
Yeah, maybe it was that. I don't know.
It is probably tea related.
Yeah.
Arnie and Sons popped up, and I'm like, ooh, I do need more Paris tea.
Send it to Anessa.
Yep.
Tea. She'd love it.
I love tea.
All right. Thank you for listening, everybody. Have a great week. We'll talk to you next time.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
All right. Recording done. Thank you for watching, everybody, on YouTube. Growly Bear, you were watching. Thank you. Oh, we had 3 viewers at the end. Awesome. Okay. Stop broadcasting. Stop it. Stop it.